What lengths would you go to for love? Hey, welcome back. I'm Nia. Today we've got another reading journal video. Just keep in mind that this will include some light spoilers. I'll be discussing the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. This series is 3 books long. There's another series also set in the same universe, but they can each be read separately. These books are Book 1, Once Upon a Broken Heart, Book 2, The Ballad of Never After, Book 3, A Curse for True Love. And once again, the author is Stephanie Garber, and then the audiobook series, the narrators are Rebecca Solar and Dan Bittner.
Evangeline makes a desperate deal with Jax, the Prince of Hearts, to stop the marriage of her lover to her stepsister. In exchange, he demands 3 kisses from her to use when he wants on whomever he chooses. This sets in motion a series of events that plunges Evangeline into a world of magic, manipulation, and prophecies. The series was published between 2023 and 2025 by Flatiron Books. It's a romantasy young adult fiction series, and it deals with themes of fate versus free will, deception and manipulation, love and sacrifice. And of course, some of the major tropes of it are that it's fairy tale inspired, there's curses and prophecies and forbidden love. Why did I pick it up? It popped up as a recommendation and the title intrigued me. It was clearly inspired by fairy tales or a retelling of some sort, and I love those types of stories. The cover didn't stand out to me. I later saw another set of covers that I liked much more. They were bright and whimsical and incorporated prominent icons from the series. Both options are great depending on your preference. If you prefer a more toned down minimal cover, then the darker set is great for that. The premise was interesting, and I liked that it didn't reveal anything about the larger plot. It even fakes you out thinking that the love triangle is between the betrothed lover whose marriage Evangeline wants to stop and the Prince of Hearts, but it's not. It seems like a lighthearted and fun read, and I was looking for something like that after finishing a more intense book, so I got it from the library that day. I love the romance in this series. Jax has a whole plan in motion to complete this prophecy, and when he meets Evangeline, he decides to turn her into the girl from the prophecy in order to have control over everything. Despite being extremely untrustworthy and manipulative, Evangeline is able to treat him empathetically after discovering more about him. Jax denies his feelings for her. Her hope and optimism are an infection he desperately tries to fight because she makes him want love and happiness again. And he begins wanting those things with her. She ruined all his plans for the better.
This soft magic system is so fun. There's sentient, omnipresent curses, prophecies that can be completed like puzzle pieces, and spells that affect the entire conscious population. The magic allowed for interesting new conflicts and twists that constantly kept the characters and the reader on their toes. There's also an element of things never being what they seemed. None of the people Evangeline meets can be fully trusted. She's literally betrayed by everyone she meets. Agnes, her stepmother, was an awful human being. Marisol, her stepsister, put a spell on Luke to steal him from Eva and marry him. Luke tries to kill Eva to complete his transformation into a vampire. Jax frames her for murder to force her to help him. Lala put a spell on her husband to force her to complete the prophecy. Apollo, her husband, erased her memories to try to make her love him. Chaos killed her. The characters are all flawed and do bad things in their attempts to find love or happiness, and Evangeline can relate to that as she's made plenty of her own mistakes. Additionally, each one of them in their personal pursuits contributes to the overall progression of the story. If any one of them were removed, the story would not be the same. They're all necessary.
I don't really have any major dislikes from the series. The only one that comes to mind is some of the supporting characters disappear once they're no longer relevant. The stepsister Marisol, who was a minor villain, was pretty consistently present until she disappears, never to be seen or heard from again. A lot was going on, but it felt strange that there was no mention of her ever again or what happened to her, unless I am misremembering something. I don't have the books anymore to recheck it. I don't need some grand exit for this character, but like a mention of what happened to her in a sentence to sum it up would have been good. the ex-boyfriend turned vampire Luke experienced the same treatment too. On that note, the introduction of vampires did briefly throw me off. That's not a creature usually present in these kind of magical fairy tale worlds, and at the time, no other similar creatures had been mentioned, nor was there an indication up to that point that vampires existed in this universe. But it worked out. The explanation of how they came to exist and why people didn't talk about them became relevant to the plot.
Once I started, I could not put these books down. I finished the entire series in about a week and a half, and I have not finished anything that quickly in years. I have a full-time job and other responsibilities, and college completely ruined my ability to speed read, so it usually takes me a few weeks to finish one book. And I'm also a big mood reader, and I don't usually like to read similar books back to back, so when I read a series, I usually break it up by reading something else in between each book. Not with this one. I had never heard of this series before, and I didn't even realize that it was written by the same author who wrote the Caraval Series, or that it was set in the same universe until after I finished the first book and I was looking up the series to find out if the rest of the books had been released yet. Now, I will admit I haven't finished the Caraval series. The ending of that first book put a bad taste in my mouth because, like, what do you mean? What do you mean you put me through all that emotional turmoil just to tell me it was all fake? Like, me and Scarlett, we had the same fury at the end of the book there for a minute. And I'm still recovering from that betrayal, but one of my best friends has convinced me to read the other books, so we'll see. If you like this video, you can check out some of my older reading journal videos, as well as my writing vlogs or my bullet journal videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!